Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and with iOS 27, Apple released the public beta, and now they've released a public beta for AirPods. I wanted to share some of the first things to try, some of the new features, and also show you how you can get started trying it out for yourself. Now, as far as those new features with iOS 27, supported devices are fairly limited, mostly due to the H2 chipset. While you will be able to use all AirPods with iOS 27, most of the new features are limited to the AirPods Pro 2, AirPods Pro 3, along with the AirPods 4, AirPods 4 with active noise cancellation, and also AirPods Max 2. So keep in mind, if you want to try out most of the new features, you'll need those along with the beta to try out these updates. Now, before we install the update, I just wanted to make sure that you're aware there is no way to downgrade your AirPods once they've updated to the beta update. Basically, you'll have to wait until the next beta update and then the public release when it releases later this year. So just keep that in mind. However, so far they've been fairly stable. Now, in order to install the update, it's fairly simple and straightforward. This time around, they've made it easier. Go ahead and connect them to your iPhone. So we open them up. They'll connect to our iPhone. Go into your settings. Then you'll see your AirPods menu here. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see an option for AirPods beta updates. Go into this, and then you can enable the AirPods beta updates. And again, it says enable pre-release beta firmware updates. Firmware updates will be installed with your AirPods in their charging case and nearby this iPhone. It's also, again, a pre-release software update, so just keep that in mind, and you may have some bugs, but so far it's been pretty good. You can also choose to share AirPods analytics data if you'd like to, or you can just turn that off. It's really up to you. Now, in order to update the AirPods, it's pretty simple. The way I typically do it, and technically they do it on their own, but sort of to speed up the process, typically I'll open them up, place them in my ears, listen to music for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute or so. Once that's done playing, I'll place them back in the case, close it, and then place it next to my iPhone, lock the iPhone, and walk away. A couple things to note, though. You want to make sure your AirPods are charged over 50% typically, or you can plug them in directly to a Mac and they'll update fairly quickly that way as well. So generally they update pretty quickly, but sometimes it takes a few tries. So try it out a few times. If it's still not working, you can go back into your beta updates, turn them off, turn it back on, and then try again. Now, to verify that they've been updated, just go into your settings again, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the version number. And this is the same version number that iOS 27 Beta 3's AirPods updates have, and it's 9A314b. So the developer beta and the public beta are the same currently when it comes to AirPods. If we go into it, you'll again see the same case number here for the version number 9A314b, and sometimes the case can take a while to upgrade. So just keep that in mind. Once it's updated on your AirPods themselves, it may take a day or more for the case to upgrade for some reason. As far as what's new, well, the first thing you probably already noticed is a new settings menu. They've made it a little bit easier to understand, to navigate. They've grouped things a little bit more logically, and you can see it here. So again, our battery at the top, then we have, of course, the name of them, our listening modes, audio and routing, battery, and then again, down at the bottom, we have more about the AirPods themselves. So pretty simple and straightforward. I like the menu upgrade, and there's a couple things worth trying here. The first thing is music EQ. So this is something people have wanted for a long time. If we go under audio and routing, then go to equalizer, we now have an equalizer built in. So if we want to change it from Apple's recommended settings, we can go to custom, and then we can actually just adjust it here like this, or maybe play a song and adjust it on the fly. So again, we'll go in here, we'll play this song. Once your song is playing, you'll see the real-time waveforms, and then again, you can adjust this however you'd like. So whatever you prefer as far as the overall sound, you can adjust that or just reset it and see what it sounds like. Again, try this out. Of course, you can adjust it song by song and try it out that way. It's pretty basic at this point. Maybe they'll make it a little more advanced in the future, but at least we now have an EQ. Another thing worth trying out is if we go back here and then we go back to the main menu, if we place them in my ears here, so let's do that. You'll see it currently says noise cancellation. I'll switch it over to transparency, and one thing that we have that's new is under adaptive mode. Adaptive is now adjustable. So adaptive mode is something a lot of people confused with noise cancellation and thought just noise cancellation got worse. It listens for conversations nearby, allows the volume to drop on the AirPods, and lets through certain things such as voices. But if we want more noise cancellation but still want to use the adaptive mode, we can do that now, slide it back and forth, but these may only be supported on specific devices. But keep in mind we can switch fully to noise cancellation or back to adaptive and then slide between the different mode that we prefer. So this is a really nice option that they've updated and definitely worth trying out. Also keep in mind if you're utilizing Siri AI and you have some of the new settings here. So if you have that in your region and in your language and on your device, again, typically it supports Apple Intelligence supported devices, but if you have Siri, it's enabled and in beta, you can now activate those directly from the AirPods and utilize them there. So you can ask using hey and then the word, and then ask different questions utilizing that with your AirPods directly. Another feature you may want to try out has to do with accessibility. And if we go into our main accessibility settings, you'll see if we scroll down, we have sound and name recognition. Under name recognition, we can enable this, and it's now recognized in about 50 different languages. So this works across your different iPhone as well as your AirPods as well, understanding your name and letting you know that someone's calling your name. So that's something that it will utilize the microphone with. Also, you can use AirPods Pro 3 now with precision finding on the Apple Watch. So if you're trying to locate them with watchOS 27, you can utilize the precision finding mode across different Apple Watches now. Now, another thing you can use the AirPods with is Gym Kit. This is new with iOS 27, and where you can sync your iPhone or Apple Watch with a gym device typically. Maybe you're going to some place such as Planet Fitness. You can then sync that if you're doing a workout so that it understands what you're doing on the treadmill, for example, and sync that with your watch. But now you can sync that directly with your AirPods as well. So it will use that information to sync your heart rate data from your AirPods Pro 3 to the gym equipment. So again, instead of having to use your Apple Watch, you can use your AirPods. Now, as far as anything else, there's not a huge improvement or any changes really with AirPods with iOS 27. However, if you're wanting to get out of the beta updates, like I mentioned before, there's no way to easily do that. You can go into your settings again, go back to your AirPods settings, and of course you can turn off the beta updates, but that won't really change anything until the public version is out. So keep in mind, if you want to get off the AirPods beta updates, wait until the public version is released later this year. We should have betas throughout the summer, and we should have additional updates, but as far as the public release, I would expect that sometime in mid-September around the next iPhone launch. We could even see some new AirPods there as well, but either way, that's when we expect the public version to come out. So just keep that in mind again before you update. Now with iOS 27, I would absolutely love to see them add one additional button here. So if we go into our menu, maybe a software update button, or that there's a notification that there's an update available, and then we could immediately update our AirPods. Sometimes it's a little tricky, especially on AirPods Max, so I would love to see sort of a status indicator or just something to push the update immediately. Maybe they'll add that with iOS 27, and of course I'll report it in feedback as a suggestion. As far as anything else, well, that's pretty much it for AirPods in iOS 27. They gave us a few nice updates and, of course, redesigned that menu. Let me know what your favorite iOS 27 feature is so far, if you've been trying out Siri AI, maybe the liquid glass changes or something else. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Of course, I'll link the wallpaper in the video in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.